Welcome, welcome. We're going to do a little flying in Papua New Guinea today in the Cessna 172 on bush tires and bigger engine, stole kit, the whole 9 yards. So we're at Kokoda in Papua New Guinea, and definitely got some clouds in the area, so we'll have to navigate that, stay low in the valley. But we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. Hope everybody's been doing good. Alright, so everything looks good. Beacon on, mixture rich. Brake set, clear. Alternator, avionics, few lights, lean on the ground. Alright, so altimeter is set, but the closest altimeter is probably, I don't know the area that well. We're flying to AYGR, so let me see if that's got a no METAR at the airport. Alright, never mind. Alright, so the Wild West, we'll just have to hit B for the altimeter. So we are flying to AYGR, which is Guru Airport. We'll just stay through the valley and should be able to stay well underneath these clouds, and then we'll see if we can continue on from there. AYGR. Get the heading bug set up, because we cannot go direct. So I'll be taking off, making a left-hand turn, and heading out that way. And this is probably going to be a hand flying only day. We only got 30 miles to go for that airport. And let's see here. Neofly. Get you loaded up. Alright. So flying and going to AYGR first. Fly this mission. Connect. Yes. Alright, so we're missing 480 pounds. So we're going to load up 160 in each station.
Transporter from dispatch, it's a cargo mission today. When you check the payload and the flight plan, please release your parking brake to start. Transporter form dispatch. Loading cargo. Please stand by.
Alright. Says I'm over gross, but be, you know, at a 172. It just like, I'd have to check the book numbers to see what where it's
Transporter from
actually at.
dispatch.
So.
The cargo is on board. You are clear to taxi to the runway and take off.
Okie doke. So we're going to go 1 notch of flaps, and everything else looks good. Do have some visible moisture out today, so we're going to pop that the pitot heat on. All right, so we're already lined up on the runway. It's a nice long grass runway here. We're probably going to need it in this 172, but hey. Alright, parking brake is released. We'll do a quick run up here. No prop to mess with, no carb heat. Everything's in the green. Fuel quantity is way low. Yeah, I don't know why. I know I was monkeying with it, but it should keep it at 50, because that's what Neofly's at. Well, 10 gallons on board, that's minimum, but technically I can make it. Don't do that in real life. I just don't want to have to restart the Neofly mission. So a lot of times I get some bugs that way. Alright, airspeed's alive. And 60. We're out of here.
Transporter from dispatch. Fly safe.
Alright, flaps coming up. Trimming to not climb up into those clouds. Such a beautiful day. Back it down to go about 2,500 RPMs. And if we run the tanks dry, then we'll get the practice a dead stick landing. That's the right side of that, I guess. field elevation is 311, and it's got a paved runway, so this is actually going to be an easy airport compared to a lot of them in Papua New Guinea. And without any real accurate weather forecasting in this area, or METARs and that type of stuff, like what I'm used to in the United States, it's really tough to tell, like sitting on the ground there at Kokoda, how high these clouds really are. So I never would have guessed they would have been, looks like maybe in the 3,000 foot range. I was figuring I was going to have to stay below 2,000 for the majority of this trip. So that's a good surprise. But if I did want to fly that way towards some other airports, these hills climb well above 4,500, like in this area here. So it would be very difficult to navigate those. So we'll see. Luckily we're on the coast, so let me zoom out the map a little bit. So if I did want to go that direction and climb up over these hills, or go around the hills, I could go to the coast and go offshore and then go up the coastline and get to the airport. So we'll see. We'll see how much time I have. So we can just about go direct. So let me get the heading bug set up. And we're gonna go ahead and capture. 2,500. Heading autopilot. What are you doing? Why are you... That was weird. It just went into a dive. That was really weird. I've had that happen one other time, and it was in the helicopter. The Airbus 135, and I just chalked it up that, they're still going through some learning curves with, a helicopter autopilot, but that's weird. And I'm wondering if that's more sim related, because it did the exact same thing where I engaged autopilot and it just went into a nose dive to auger myself to the ground. So that's crazy. Again, another reminder to treat the autopilot as if they're, a second-in-command pilot that does a great job of flying the needles when you need them to, but you never, ever completely trust them. Ever. Alright, so everything looks good. Everything's still in the green. Still have no fuel on board. Making me nervous. That's not me typically. Like I hate getting low on fuel. I'd rather stop and waste 45 minutes if I'm on a trip to land somewhere and put some gallons in the tank than to arrive on fumes. There's too many fuel accidents in aviation, and especially in the United States, there's too many airports that have fuel to have fuel issues. It's one thing if it's a mechanical issue where you're losing fuel and you didn't know it, or the engine's burning more than what you expected, or whatever. Um, but there's been too many instances, and I've had close friends that it was too close. It was too close. I guess one story with that, when I was in renting a lot, I was flying a lot of different aircraft at a flight school. They had Cessna 172s, they had Cirruses, they had um, an aircraft called a Symphony. It's based on an experimental Glasair or Glaystar aircraft, but they had two of those, and then they had a couple of Diamonds, DA-20s, as well as a DA, I think it's a 40. Um, but I was flying the Diamond that day, and it was, probably right after lunch, so it had been flying that morning, and I was still relatively new to the Diamond, and the way to check the fuel in the Diamond was a dipstick. So you had a wooden stick that stayed with the aircraft, and it was marked on there of the fuel levels, how many gallons were in the tank, and you would throw it in the tank or put it in the tank, and you would see where the fuel's at. Well, I dipped it in there and I pulled it out, and it looked like it was near full. And so I took off and flew, and I was staying fairly local. Like I just flew to an airport that was maybe 10 or 15 miles away. Did a couple of touch and goes, and then came back to the airport. I flew like a half an hour, and I get back to the airport, and I went to fill it up, and I couldn't believe how many gallons I was putting in that tank. And I realized when I looked at the stick again that the stick was stained with a fuel mark on there. So what I saw was not the wet fuel, it was just a stain of how many times it had probably sat in that tank and gotten fuel on it. And I just realized that I took off with like this, like minimal fuel on board. And it scared me. I definitely remember that. Definitely try to just make sure things make sense. Because I shouldn't have assumed, because I knew the plane was flying all that morning, and I knew that a lot of times the instructors, they knew that the airplane has 2-3 hours of fuel on board. They don't fill it up after every student, so they just keep flying it, and then they'll fill it up at lunchtime or whatever. I should have been that person to fill it up, and I didn't. But luckily everything worked out. It was just a close call. And you'll also hear some fuel issue with pilots, with flight planning. Um, we'll see if it happens quite a bit this year at Oshkosh, in Wisconsin, here in the U.S. Big air show, a lot of planes flying to it, but every year, and I don't know if these people are just trying to get first in line or get preferential treatment, but you'll be listening to the VFR frequencies, and I even heard it, one of the 2 times I've flown into Oshkosh, that someone says that their bingo fuel, they need to land. And you're thinking about it like they must have tried to fly direct, or they must have tried to just flight plan just enough to get to Oshkosh, because you fly into that show and you know that you're going to have to do some stuff. You may have to hold out there over the lake. You may have to, who knows? You may have to divert somewhere else. I mean, there's no telling what you may have to do, and these people are flying into the field basically with just enough fuel to get there plus 30 minutes. I mean, that's unreal. I heard it again at Sun and Fun in April this year. Some pilots were saying that. We'll see. We'll see if it's getting any better this year, but I just hope that people plan better. Alright, so the airport should be right in there. We are 7 miles out. The runway is 0321, so probably gonna swing out this way to enter a downwind for runway 3. Be a crosswind, but it'll be acceptable. Slow it down a little bit. Alright, 5 miles out. Don't know where the airport's at. I thought that was it right there, but I don't know if I'm coming over a hill or what, but not seen it yet. That's gotta be it. It's only 3 miles out. No, that's it right there. I see it. Got it. Runway in sight. Alright, so we'll turn a little bit more to the left. That way I can enter that downwind on a 45-degree angle. Looking for about 1,200 feet for pattern altitude. So speed looks good, altitude is looking good. To 210. Got the airport over there. Alright, 210, start a descent. We're gonna go first notch of flaps, we're below 110. We're at beam the threshold. base, left base, for runway 3. We're going to have a 5-knot crosswind, so that'll be fun. That means I'll be touching down on the right main gear. I had to use the rudders to keep the nose straight and use my ailerons to turn into the wind a little bit so it doesn't blow me off the runway. Alright, so I'm high. Full flaps, and I'm going to slip it when the nose is in the wind. Still on the slip. Alright, straighten it up. Looking for that wind correction in the crosswind.
Transporter from dispatch. Go to the parking so we can check the cargo status.
Alright.
Transporter from dispatch. Someone is coming to take the cargo. I'll call you when it's done. Transporter from dispatch. Everything seems okay. The customer looks happy. Mission ended.
Alright, so mission success. Bonus. Alright. Alrighty, so let's see if we can tackle the next one once we get some fuel. Alright, it's saying I should have that amount. So I'm not going to mess with that fuel slider. So let's load this one to Alpha Foxtrot Romeo. Connect and fly.
Transporter from dispatch. Good
So I
morning.
need to
The
pull
cargo
off
mission will start as
266.
soon as you get on your plane, in the parking. Transporter form dispatch. Loading cargo. Please stand by.
Alright, so I'm gonna lose that one. And we'll lose, let's see. So 107.
Transporter.
Yep.
Transporter from
We're good.
dispatch. The cargo is on board. You are clear to taxi to the runway and take off.
Alright, so we're flying from AYGR. AYGR to AFR? Yeah, AFR. Alright. Good. Alright. So I got that set up. That's weird. My altitude is off. Huh. Just notice the overlay, the altitude is off by 1,000 feet. And I don't know why. Okay. I'll have to look into that one. Alright, so got all green lights in Neofly. We need to go. Sometimes I have issues with the magenta line. Yep. It's, for some reason, it always pulls from wherever I started the flight at. So, flight plan, menu, delete flight plan, direct, enter, enter. Let's see if this works. Alright, there we go. So I had to hit clear on it. Alright, so I got a hill, so I'm gonna have to navigate that. I'm flying probably to the east, to the coast a little bit to get around it. And yeah. Alright, so 10 degrees flaps. I should have turned my pitot heat. If I did not do a good job of setting the airplane up for the loading and everything. I should have had 1,000 RPMs, lean for on the ground, pitot heat off. Okay, so flaps are set. Avionics are set. Parking brake released. Thank you for directing me. I don't see anybody taking off or landing. So we'll taxi back this way. Don't back taxi on the center line. It's so much easier to see an airplane that's on the runway if it's not in the center. It's crazy how it blends in the center. You don't believe me, but I'm telling you it does. But if it's off center, it stands out a lot more. Same with driving, if you're mowing the grass at the runway, whatever. If you need to go up the runway, go to the side. Plus, if an airplane tries to land, technically, they can go to one side, and they should be a little bit better off not hitting you. Alright. Pitot heat. Mixture rich. If you didn't catch it in my other video where I was flying in Arkansas with this plane, if you have a hard time taxiing it, don't want to turn, pull back on the stick to turn. That'll get that nose wheel light with that big old knobby or big old sticky nose wheel, it doesn't like to turn. Fun fact for the day. Alright, full power. Airspeed's coming alive. There's that crosswind.
Transporter from dispatch. Fly safe.
Alright, flaps up. Pull the power back. You can see those clouds are easily into those mountains. So I'm a little concerned once I get on this side because the field elevation. Let's see if it shows up. Let's see if it has any information on the runways. All right, field elevation is 311. No, that's not right. It's still pulling up the elevation from my last airport. That is not right. That's a windy bug. I use windy.com for some of that stuff. And for some reason you click on a runway and the next one you click on it pulls that up too. So pulls up the next runway you click on for information. It pulls up the first runway you picked up. So because it was showing 5,000 foot of paved runway, 0321, field elevation 311. That is where I just took off from. I think the field elevation's around 1,800 feet here. So that's my concern, is that if the clouds are, well, you know what? There's only one way to find out. Let's go touch them and see what elevation they're truly at. So I'm not going to go IMC. I'll abort the mission before I fly IMC. So I'm going to stay VFR, but I want to just kind of see where they're at, and I think they're solid. They look solid. It doesn't look scattered. Turbulence in here. Get the autopilot set up. I feel like I'm getting close, but it's looking like a really thin layer. But that feeling like that it's gonna be like, I don't know about this. I think I'm climbing above it now. Yes, I am. almost looks cumulus there, like rain or something, but I don't see a shaft of rain underneath it, so I think we're okay. I don't know if I like this. I don't see a way out. Nope. I don't like this. Autopilot's off. It's gonna discount me on bank angle, but I don't care. I'm going for the ocean. Alright. That looked like a trap there. I couldn't see a clear valley through it, and I'm not gonna get to the airport anyway that way. I don't think so. Okay. So probably have to drop down a little bit more altitude. Not that much. I'm also afraid to try to climb up and over this because it looks so solid that I don't know if I can get down through it, especially over the airport area that I'm trying to go, with it being in mountainous terrain. If it was going into a large, like if the airport was over in this area, no problem. I would have climbed up and over, and I would have been able to find a hole most likely, or I could have just turned around and come back here. But I do not have that confidence going into this airport. Make some decisions here because I can't tell if flying up that way. Well, let's try it. It looks pretty clear. never gets old flying in the mountains like this. It's just so nice. But yeah, it's so scary too, because there's, like, that's a decent landing spot there on that little river bar area, but otherwise, I'll be picking trees out of my teeth, trying to land anywhere else. So the clouds are raising a little bit with the elevation of the terrain too, which is helping me right now, because I am extremely close to the airport, 3 miles out. Alright, so the wind is pretty much just from the east, so I had to see how the runway is orientated here and make a decision on which way we want to try to land. Just about straight at the airport. And this is going to be a grass runway in the middle of nowhere, so it's going to be potentially kind of difficult to find. It says I'm a mile out. This is it right here. Oh wow, it's paved. Huh, the satellite images don't show it paved. Okay. Even better. Man. This is like the first time I departed from a grass runway. And I'm gonna land on, and I landed on 2 paved runways. That is a Papua New Guinea first. Alright, 10 degrees. Make sure rich. Nope, not rich. Mid elevation. Alright, getting the trim in. Full flaps. Got a crosswind from the right.
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the next parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch.
Alright. Get rid of that pitot. That looks good for the ground. Alright, we're going to call it a night there.
Transporter from dispatch. Okay,
Brakes
nice
on.
job. Someone is coming to take the cargo. I'll call you when it's done.
Get rid of these lights. Spending a lot of time unloading those 2 boxes. I wonder if I cut the engine off, that's why. Let's try something. Because it's just in a loop.
Transporter
Yep,
from dispatch.
I cut the engine
Everything
off too
seems
early.
okay. The customer looks happy. Mission ended.
Yep, alright. Mission success. Bonus, bonus. 109 feet per second, or feet per minute. Vertical speed. And yeah, that was good. It's just so weird. I didn't expect it to be a paved runway, but you can see I had to deviate around those hills. I don't think I would have ever made it through there. I probably could have come up this way a little bit earlier, but I think we took the safer, more conservative route. So yeah, I'm good with that. All right, so let's shut down one more time. All right, good to go. All right, thanks for joining me. If you like missions like this, you like Neofly tips, check out my page, subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll see you next time.